Hey, what's up with some YouTubers just here in the house? Um, I want to thank you to each and everybody who has subscribed to my channel. And if you have not subscribed if you're not subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and do so. Yes, I have a blister here. I do apologize for that. So I want to talk to you about Puerto Rico. I want to talk about Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny made a video called El Apagón, which means the blackout. And in that video, he's showing how our island has gone through so many changes, right? And how Luma in Puerto Rico is not doing their job. Listen, let me tell you the truth about Puerto Rico. Let me tell you the truth about the government of Puerto Rico. Let me tell you the truth about the people. The people of Puerto Rico, they are the most beautiful people that are in the world. They're the most humble, and they will give you the shirt off their back. But when it comes to politics, they don't know how to vote. In Puerto Rico, there are three parties. There is the Independent Party, which is white and green. You have what you call a Popular, which is red. You have the PNP, which is green, which is blue. So, for the majority, not for the majority, since the beginning of time, when parties were enacted in Puerto Rico, both PNP and Popular were the ones that ruled, right? You have around 80 senators, something like this. The House of Representatives, the senators. You have to pass certain legislation, and then it goes to the governor, and if they didn't want it, the governor can veto it. They have the old power to veto it also. So it's just like the states when it comes as far as voting. But what happens there? That in Puerto Rico has a tendency to vote either blue or red. Puerto Rico does not vote. They don't say, you know what, because my parents, they say because my parents voted PNP, so I'm going to vote. So it does not matter who is up there, who is running for PNP, no matter what his credential or her credentials, they don't care. They're going to vote for that person. Same thing with Popular. Okay. Then you have the Independent Party. The Independent Party is mostly lawyers who want the independence of Puerto Rico. All right. Let's say Puerto Rico was, I myself want independence for Puerto Rico. And I'll tell you why. Because it gives it the freedom. But the thing that I'm afraid of, that I don't want the independence for Puerto Rico, is because Puerto Rico is so corrupt. The politician, how are you going to get rid of the corruption then? It's right now in Puerto Rico, $75 billion. And this is an island of 3.1 million people. At that time, it was 3.4. So if you got people now who are scheming off the system, and we're a commonwealth of the United States of America, right? We're a territory of the United States of America. We're not being policed until someone snitches out a senator or something like that, or a mayor, and that's how they get caught. And can you imagine what it would be if Puerto Rico became independent? The corruption would triple. Because now the government is watching itself. Right now you got the governor that gave that contract to Luma, and he only gave that contract to Luma because I guarantee that he knows someone from Luma. His brother tried to build a pool, bought a building, and build a pool in a building where the beach is right behind the building. They closed that section up so they can build something there. His own brother, the governor's brother, Luis's brother, and his brother knows, and Luis knows, that the beaches of Puerto Rico are not private. The beaches of Puerto Rico belong to the people of Puerto Rico. It's a public beach. All the beaches in Puerto Rico are public, so you cannot build on public land. Yet they insisted, they put up a wall. And did his brother say anything? Did the governor say anything? No, he did not. People had to protest. You have people building on land that is protected federally, and they still build there. Until Blanca Carral, I think is her name, or Serral, posted it on her YouTube, or TikTok, and that's when everybody came in, and they had to dismantle it. There are a lot of things in Puerto Rico that go around that the world outside of Puerto Rico do not see. You understand? In Puerto Rico, teachers got no union. Teachers got no more retirement funds. police officers got double retirement funds. At one point, 20 years ago, Puerto Rico had the second highest police force in the United States. Second to New York City. New York City had 33,000. Puerto Rico had roughly around 17, 18,000 police officers. And they left. Why? Because the government was so corrupt that they took off their pension. They took off their pensions so they can pay their debt. Can you imagine that? So doctors don't get police officers don't have pensions. Firefighters don't have pensions anymore. Teachers don't have pensions anymore. Teachers don't get paid anything. You go, and police officers, they try to do their best, but they always getting shot at. They can't go into the projects because when they go out and make the rest of the projects, right? The people, the wrong people in the projects, either they shoot at them or they throw rocks at them. So for safety reasons, they don't go in there unless they're heavy, unless they're going out for a warrant or they're chasing you. You go in there, and that's when the SWAT team and everybody goes in there, and no one messes with them because there's a whole entire team. But you got people in projects, drug dealers who take a whole entire floor and block it and make it their own. And mind you, those projects in Puerto Rico are HUDs. They belong to the United States of America. Housing and urban development. And yet, the government allows this to happen. On a small island, on a small island, you're getting controlled by drug dealers. Which is not supposed to happen. But you're supposed to have these things under control. Okay? You're already an island of 3.1 million people. Okay? So police officers don't go to projects. So you have this tendency of every 4 years voting for the same party. So when you vote for the same party, you're gonna get the same results because they haven't done anything in years. When I went to Puerto Rico has zero taxes, right? When I get there in 2004, they implemented a 7.0 sales tax. 6% went to the island, and 1% went to the municipalities. Okay, that's 7%. When Alejandro Garcia Padilla became governor of Puerto Rico in 2012, he opened up the books and he said, "Where is the money from the sales tax? Where is the money?" Now, mind you, I'm gonna go before that. In 2008, the then governor Aníbal Acevedo Vilá went in and asked the people, do they want to just have one? Do they have to just have one legislation, one body, right? Not having 88 senators for an island of 72 municipalities. Not have so many people. You don't need that much legislation. You don't need that many lawyers. I mean, mayors. And so, I think it's in Utah, something that they don't have one body, right? So that's what they wanted to do in Puerto Rico. So the people of Puerto Rico voted for, yes, we want one body. We don't want too many legislators. We don't want too many senators. It's too much of a chaos. So the people of Puerto Rico voted for that. The people of Puerto Rico voted for that. And did you know that the government did nothing about that? So what does that tell you? It gives you a slap in the face. I'll give you another prime example. Back in 1996, when Bill Clinton was president, there was a law, it's called 936. That 936 law, that provision law, what it allowed big companies, pharmaceutical companies, was to, you can have your business here and you don't pay no taxes, right? So Bill Clinton said, you're going to have that law, which was before Bill Clinton became president, but when he became president, he said this law ends in 10 years, in 2006. So Puerto Rico decided to themselves and say, you know what? I'm not going to worry about that because I know that Papa USA is not going to let us down, and they're going to do another law. That didn't happen. So instead of Puerto Rico revising that law or making a law similar to that so they can keep those pharmaceutical companies, no, they didn't do that. They let that go by. They didn't implement a law similar to that. They let that go by. And thousands of people lost their jobs, and hundreds of pharmaceutical companies left Puerto Rico to other countries, Dominican Republic, and that's it. So that just tells you the inept of the government of Puerto Rico. So and then you had throughout, so going back to the taxes. So in 2012, when the then governor Alejandro Garcia Padilla for the Popular Party opened up the books, he said, "Where's the tax money? Where's the money that we're supposed to collect from taxes? Where's that 7%?" No one knew where it was. No one knew where it went because nothing was spent. So he had to spend in 2-3 years. In 2015, he raised the sales tax from 7% to 12%. The highest of any place in the world, the highest of any place in the nation, within the 50 states. The highest. The electrical company was the highest, still is the highest in all 50 states. We pay more for kilowatts than anywhere in the world. Our water system, the same way. The same way. So, here you go. And you vote for the same people, knowing that you're not going to get a different result. They're not going to give you anything because they don't care. Most of the mayors, not mayors, most of the governors in Puerto Rico are lawyers. If you look at Pedro Berlusi, a lawyer, he works for a big buffet. Luis Fortuño, he worked for a big buffet. Ricardo Rosselló was a scientist, a doctor. He became mayor. I mean, he became governor because of his father. His father didn't do much in Puerto Rico anyway. And the only reason that Puerto Rico had money back when his father was governor was because Bill Clinton was president of the United States of America. And at that time, we were doing good economically. So when the United States does good economically, Puerto Rico does well economically. So they build, they build a train system, so that Puerto Rico has a subway and that kind of stuff. But yet they did not. They continue doing the same thing over and over again. They keep stealing. They don't let the people breathe. The true people, because I don't feel bad for those who keep voting for the same thing. Why don't you give the independent party an opportunity? In the last election, there were like 3 different, besides the PNP and the Popular and the Independents, there were like 3 other organizations that became a party. And out of those 3, a lot of people voted for Victoria Ciudadana. That's from Alejandra Lugaro. She'll make a great governor one day. Give it a chance. Her party got over 100,000 votes. The PNP, they didn't get that many votes. The one that from Berlusi. The Independent Party got the highest vote that they ever got. I think they went over 100,000 votes. So that's telling you. Statistically. That's telling you. And Elisel Molina, I think he got like 50,000, 60,000 votes from another party. So that's just telling you. You have 200,000 votes right there that could have gone to the PNP or Popular, but no, it went to the Independent Party. Like I said, the Independent Party got 100,000. Alejandra Lugaro with the victory for the citizens of Puerto Rico got another 100,000. So that's 200,000 people right there that did not vote for these people. So that means there is a change. There is a change. But what happens is that you still have the old people. The people that no matter what happens to Puerto Rico, they're still going to vote the same because that's their party. Could be their neighbor. The neighbor could be a schmuck. He ran on that party or she ran on that party. They're going to vote for her. They don't care what it is. They don't care who it is. As long as it votes, as long as it's for that party, whether it's for the red or the blue. And this is what's happening in Puerto Rico. And as long as we keep voting that way, that's what's going to happen. Bad Bunny can make a lot of videos of Luma, which is a horrible company. But Bad Bunny has to make a video of the government of Puerto Rico. Make a video of each and every one of these senators that are not doing anything. Take out their books. Take out, audit their books. See what they've done for their town. See what they've done for their people. Nothing. There are municipalities in Puerto Rico who are on a surplus. And they do have money. But for the majority, they don't have surpluses. In my hometown, Hurricane Maria tore down an indoor basketball court for kids to play. And it's still, right to this day, when I was there 2 weeks ago, it was still torn down. Instead of him replacing that, if you're not going to use it, replace it, take that metal off and put something else. Or just leave it as is. I mean, leave it, he looks a little bit nice, but no, it looks run down. It's just what Maria took and left there, and he hasn't done anything about it. Hasn't done anything about it. You know, that's the mayor of my mom's hometown. So, you know, you got places like Humacao has a nice beach. They don't promote that. I mean, they don't promote themselves. They don't promote anything but that in San Juan. And you gotta promote the whole entire island. So when I'm saying about Bad Bunny, that's what he should make a video of. He should make a video of senators, both female and male, and see how they live. Okay, audit their books. Hey, this guy got this and blah blah. And you see how they live. You know, like I was talking to my kids yesterday, that when Bad Bunny did that video, you know, he's talking about the taxes that were given to foreigners, other people who have complained. But you cannot complain. You cannot tell anyone, you know, you're coming to my island and you're taking advantage of my island. No, you're not. I'm not taking. See, this is the way I look at it. I'm not taking advantage of your island. I'm taking advantage of the opportunity that your island is providing for me. So if your island is providing me, then I go live there in Puerto Rico for 6 months. And those 6 months that I live there, after that, whatever money I make while I'm in Puerto Rico, that means that I don't pay no taxes on that. Hey, who's not going to take advantage of it? That means if you make $100,000, that means if you make $1 million, if you make $2 million, that's for you. You don't have to pay taxes on that. So who's not going to go? But then in the same token, you tell the people of Puerto Rico that the people of Puerto Rico has to pay taxes. So why do you think a lot of people out there now are buying apartments, are buying houses and making them into Airbnb? You can't get a house now over in Puerto Rico because it's kind of hard because everybody's investing in buying houses because it's Airbnb. Don't blame the people, blame the government. Because the governor of Puerto Rico produces, it's not there for the people. The governor of Puerto Rico is there for his people, which is the rich people. He's there for the people that he knows, the favors that he can do. His wife is also a strategic woman. You know, she's no slouch. You know, the man works for buffet lawyers in Washington, D.C. Just the same way his buddy, Luis Fortuño. They work for a buffet. So when they come here to Puerto Rico, when they came to Puerto Rico, and they decided, I'm going to run for governor, I'm going to help you out. Meaning, I'm going to give you contracts. I'm going to make sure that you get this contract. I'm going to make sure you get this contract. Because look at Luma. Luma has no idea what they were doing. Luma has been thrown out of different countries. So you sell a company to a company that doesn't know what he's doing, all right? An exuberant amount of money. You pay these people, the technicians. So instead of having the workers from Prepa, which is the electric company, they made them reapply and blah blah blah. It's the people that know the system. You keep these people so they can teach your technicians what to do. All right. From past Hurricane Maria, I really thought that they would learn something and that they would go to every police station and put solar panels in police stations. So this way, when this does happen, you can have backup. If you don't have a generator, you can have backup with lights with solar. They didn't do that. I see people whose houses went through mudslides. They built right there on the edge of a mountain, and you know that if you build there, the possibility of your house, when it comes to flood or when it comes to rain, that it's going to go away. Why do that? You still have houses that are built on top of another one, and they're made out of metal. FEMA gives them the money, they make it out of metal. Why would you do that if you already went through that? Why would you build another house out of metal? Build it out of cement. FEMA should have said, you know what? I'm going to give you the money, but we're going to make sure that we're going to contract these people and they're going to build the house for you. And it's going to be made out of cement because we're going to go through this every year. Or every other year when a hurricane passes through Puerto Rico, your house is going to get destroyed. We're going to have to give you money so you can rebuild another one. So let's nip this in the bud. Nip it. You know. And is a crisis in Puerto Rico because, you know, I feel bad that 67% of the people in Puerto Rico are on welfare. And a lot of people don't want to work. There's jobs out there, but they don't want to work. The drug business is killing Puerto Rico. The government has not done anything. They haven't got a superintendent, a police superintendent that's tough. I mean, you got guys out there killing other kids for no reason. And you know, if you cannot take a step hold, if you cannot grab what's going on, in other words, if you cannot grab, you know, the problem and you let it escalate, that's what happened throughout the years. These individuals have taken control of housing, and that's where most of the drugs come from, the housing authority. And if you cannot control a building of five or six buildings, you cannot control 5 or 6 buildings on a small island, then something's wrong with you as governor and as a police superintendent. Police officers do not do around. They don't go around security. They don't go around doing patrol work at these places because they get shot at. I don't blame them. So you giving the upper hand to these thugs. You giving the upper hand to these thugs. Okay. For that, you must just take all that, turn it. You can't turn it down, and just give people houses. You know, there's a lot of abandoned houses in Puerto Rico, and a lot of good people who are in those projects can go and live in, and get away from that. If you're not gonna be, you know, Puerto Rico, the government is part of the problem, and it's not being part of the solution. Because as long as Puerto Rico, the government can get away with what they're getting away with now, then they're okay. Because you don't have no one supervising them, you don't have no one doing anything, and they're okay. They're okay with that. They're okay that when my brother passed away, he died in a rehab facility using drugs. This is a place where you're supposed to help them out, and they had no staff watching these guys do drugs. There was short staff. There was nothing. There was nothing. Okay? Domestic violence in New York is high. I mean, in New York, in Puerto Rico is high. The homophobia in Puerto Rico is high. How can you live like that? You know? Rent is becoming high. Everything in Puerto Rico is becoming high. I went the other day to buy a shish kebab or Rico pinchos. When I left Puerto Rico in 2016, they were $2. I went back to Puerto Rico in November of last year when my brother passed away. They were still $2. I went this time 2 weeks ago and I bought a shish kebab, a pincho. It came out to $4. $4 for 4 pieces of chicken on a skewer. That's a lot. It's gone up a lot. You know? And it doesn't help that the government is not helping you at all. You know? So when Brad Bunny makes these videos, it gets me angry because he's blaming Luma. Luma sucks. We all know they suck. But go after the governor. Go after the senators who are making these decisions. They're the ones that gave them these contracts. Right? Why can't you hire someone who's independent, someone who maybe engineers from Puerto Rico, or someone, you know, they hired that's going to do the job of Puerto Rico, going to do the job to Puerto Rico. It's going to change that grid. It'll take years, but you can have new grids in Puerto Rico in no time. It'll take years, but you cannot do it without the people who were working at PREPA for the electric company, for energía, Autoridad de Energía Eléctrica. Without them, you cannot do it because they're the ones that knows the system. They're the ones that knows where the transformers are at. They know how to deal with this. They know how to do it because this is their home. This is their backyard. This is where all they live. You can't take them to Texas and say, you know what, go work on this on these lines because it's different. But if you bring another company that's going to do what they're going to do, and then they don't have to rehire other people. You already have the talent right there. It's in your face. You pay them a little bit more because, of course, you're a new company. You pay them a little bit more, and they're going to do the job. And if you want to hire other people from the outside, and then you do that so that the people from the inside, the people from Puerto Rico, can give them a training. And if the grid that you're going to put, the lines that you're going to put is sophisticated, right? And the people in Puerto Rico don't know how to work with it. So then you train them how to do it. When I was in Puerto Rico, I had Luma like 6 houses down working on a pole for 8 hours, 4 of them, 2 trucks. For 8 hours for one line. Okay? So, it's kind of hard for me to grasp when I say, you know what? These gringos are going to Puerto Rico and they take and they're buying land. Let them buy land. But blame the governor of Puerto Rico, Pierluisi. He's the one that did that. Blame when you vote next time in 2024. Do not vote PNP. Do not vote Popular because they're not going to give you anything. They're going to give you the same rhetoric. They're going to give you the same thing over again. We're going to be in square one. In square one. Doesn't St. Thomas or St. Croix, one of these islands, they don't have the system that Puerto Rico do. They pull their water from the ocean. There's never an outage because they always have water from the ocean. Why can Puerto Rico do something like that? Or could have done something like that? Our infrastructure is horrible. Roads are dirty. Roads have potholes. If you should see the holes that I had to go through or to dodge just so I don't hit the car. I don't mess up the shock absorber or a wheel don't break. Or I don't get a flat tire. It's different. It's great for the tourists because the tourists go there and see, they see, and they leave. But for those who have to live in the island of Puerto Rico, it is very, very, very difficult to have a decent life in Puerto Rico because everything is going up in prices. The light has always been up. Everything has going up. And how can you live at that minimum wage? It's still $7.25 an hour. You can't. You still have you still have these druggies, these drug dealers running the country. They don't care about life in prison. They don't care about these guys are recruiting 15, 16-year-olds. They give them guns. They pay them $1,000 to go do what you got to do. But back in the days, in the 80s and 90s, that was not the case. But now they go, they shoot anybody that's in the way. That's not the way to live in Puerto Rico. That's not the way to live anywhere. But yet, the government allows it. A lot of cops, a lot of officers have gone to other states because their pensions were taken away. They can't work on what they're doing. I think a police officer in Puerto Rico gets like $2,000 something a month or $3,000. That's not enough. But considering what you have to pay, with whatever expenses that you have, so it's not enough. They don't people don't respect you. Here comes a criminal, decides to commit a crime. It does not expect when an officer expects that when the officer sees him or her doing a crime, they just expect the officer to walk away. No, I expect you get arrested because you're committing a crime. And then the thing that I don't like is that they shoot at the officers. Why are you shooting at an officer who's doing their job? I understand you want to get away. I understand that. But shooting at an officer who's doing his job because you cannot go out there and get yourself a job, so you decide to steal, rob, kill, and you don't expect the officers to react. So when they're chasing you, you start shooting for what? I know, like I said, you want to get away. But is it worth it? Take it like a man. You decided to commit this crime. You decided to do this. So be mad and take the consequences. That's not happening. So you want Puerto Rico to succeed. I want Puerto Rico to succeed. But that's not going to happen when you go. If Puerto Rico keeps on voting PNP or Popular, this is not going to happen. We have to vote like we did last time, but with more participation, and we have to vote outside the box. Because what's killing Puerto Rico, if the voting system is the elderly. People 50, 60, 70 years old, who this is still a strong hold there, they're not going to swing their vote, no matter what. Either they all in PNP or they're all in Popular. Very few independents. Okay? So, for 2024, who has to join the forces? Those who are turning 18 years old, who are voting for the very first time. And those who voted in the last election, that voted the way they voted when they voted for the independence, when they voted for victory of the citizens of victory for Alejandro Lugaro. I think for Elisel Molina, he had another one. This is a guy who's very smart. You can get him Google him, and he said Molina. He's an engineer, and he ran with a party of his, and he got good votes. And then you have that a senator who is the boyfriend of Alejandro Lugaro, Natal. He was a senator in Puerto Rico. And he was for the people. And he ran as a mayor of San Juan, which I know if you had won, San Juan would have had a good mayor. But San Juan's mayor sucks too. So they voted, so they did a recount, and they said that the PNP won. All of a sudden, votes started popping up. Bags of them going to him, to the PNP. So you tell me, how can we as an island, how we as a country can live like this? Puerto Rico is an island of masochists. You know, like I said before, it's an island of masochists. There's a lot of misogyny there. There's a lot of women beaten there. A lot of women have died this year because of the hands of a man, because they don't understand that she's not yours, she's not mine, she's not nobody. No, bro. If she's not yours, she doesn't want to be with you. Go on, live your own life, let her go. You know how many women are out there? If you effed up or she effed up, yo, both of you guys separated. It was not meant to be, and that's it. Find yourself another woman. Why go out there and harm this woman? Why go out there and harm a man because he decides to dress up as a woman? Because he tries to identify himself as a woman. That's not none of your business. Let that person live. You're living. Let that person live. Mind your own business. If you know, Puerto Rico is a Catholic-based or Christian-based island, and yet they're the worst because, oh, I'm a Christian. I do this. No, but you don't. You don't follow the rules, the law of God. You know, we're supposed to the laws of God. We're supposed to mind our own business. We're supposed to help our brothers and sisters out. We're supposed to help each other. But Puerto Rico does not do that. Senators don't do that. How can you hold yourself a Christian? Okay? If a person is gay, let that person be gay. Puerto Rico trying to pass a conversion law so people who are gay, see if they can convert them to straight. That's the most retarded thing there is in the world. That's why I don't follow religion, because religion, all it does is just keeps you like this. It keeps you not from seeing the truth because they want to control you. I'm smart enough. I read the Bible. I know what the Bible says, and I know what it means. I'm not going to go and say, you know, if I'm confused about something, I may speak to a pastor and ask him, what is this passage? What do you think it means? Or you sometimes I may Google it and have an opinion of that person who interpreted what it means to them. Because the Bible can mean a lot of things. You interpret it in your own way. You know, so if you know, God, Jesus himself said, you should not be busy. You should mind your business. You should not meddle in other people's affairs. Okay, give to Caesar what's to Caesar, give to God what's to God. If the government wants to kill themselves or among themselves, that's on them. Your main focus in life as a Christian or as a God-fearing man is to go out there, help your brother and sister out, preach the word of God because you already know it. All right? Let people know that Jesus does exist. So when it does happen that this person dies, it says, well, I don't know about Jesus. Was it, well, King Gio went to your house, or Elizabeth, or Maria, or Juan, or David, or Dominic went to your house. They preached to you about the word, but you chose not to listen to. So this is your fate. You brought this upon yourself, not me. And that's what it is. And they bring religion into this, and religion, that does not work. So, do I want independence for my country? Yes, I do. Do I want to see Puerto Rico rise? Yes, because we got great stars, we got great people, we got great artists, we have great beaches. It's Puerto Rico's to die for, okay? But none of this can happen if we keep voting the same way that we are voting. If we let these people control the government the way they want to control it, it's not going to change. It's going to get the same thing. Luma can rescind the contract by November and say, get out, they got their money, and let some other company deal with it. And you know what's going to happen? It's going to happen the same thing all over again. Because the government's going to give the contract to someone that they know. Like they did in 2006, 2020, when they hired Whitefish. When Whitefish at the beginning only had 2 employees registered, 2. Now you give it to Luma, and the guy from Luma, I don't know who he was, came to Puerto Rico the other day, took off his shirt like he was a big badass, as if he was going to do something. You understand? As if he was going to do something, he didn't do anything. Not a damn thing. You know, he talked the talk, but he's still not walking the walk. You know that you're going to an island that you have nothing, you know nothing about. You don't know the people, you don't know the structure, you don't know how, you don't know this, you don't know that. You're not familiarized with that. So you have to have the people who work with you. But no, he made them take exams, he made them take applications. They did the rehiring process all over him. Then I paid it just as well. So let's not. I don't take out my anger on those people who want to better themselves and make money. Because if you got the opportunity to not pay taxes, you would take it. Don't tell me no lie. But I do get mad at those people who want to build a pool house on a public beach. People who are buying houses there and making them Airbnb, while other people can't even rent anymore because it's saturated. It's kind of hard to get a rented house because everybody is either doing Airbnb or they're signing it and they're doing Airbnb. So it's kind of hard. You know, I feel bad that you have to go to work at McDonald's or Burger King. It still makes $7.25 an hour. You know, I feel bad that every year that you go to school, there's a shortage of teachers. The schools are not up to par. I can show you. Next time I go to Puerto Rico, I'm going to show you the schools that are abandoned in Puerto Rico that's been abandoned for years, and yet the government has not taken care of them. The government has not cleaned them. The government has not torn it down. That government hasn't even sold these so they can make something out of it. They have not done anything. Nothing at all on these abandoned schools. Because Keller became, when Rosselló became governor, he picked Keller. And where's Keller now? In jail, or about to go to jail, because he was the head of the Department of Education. A white woman, a green guy from the United States, is telling the people of Puerto Rico how to run a school system of Spanish-speaking people. That makes sense. At one point, the governor then wanted to make Mandarin an official language. They want to teach kids Chinese. They want to teach kids Mandarin because that's the way business is going to be done from now on. It's going to be with China. Like, you know, like they say, every language in the world is English because people want to make money with want to make business with the United States or England. You have to know English. So he was trying to use that theory with Chinese. So we got to teach our kids Mandarin. And if you go to these schools have no computers. The school has no AC system. You know, they have low maintenance. And when I went and I saw with my own eyes the school that I used to live right next to is abandoned. It has grass up to here, the windows. I mean, it's abandoned. Why? If you're gonna take people out of there, if you're gonna take students out of the school, then do something with that building. That building can be used for many things, especially in that area. It's in a mountain. So if you take that, you can make it into a recreation room where kids can come from up the mountains, down the mountains. They can come and have a place to play. There's a lot of things you can do to improve your community, but they choose not to because they don't care. They do not care. I feel bad for the people of Puerto Rico. I feel bad for my people. I feel bad, I really do. But it's kind of hard for me to sit here and say, I'm going to blame this. When I put the blame on the governor and the people of Puerto Rico who put these people there. You want change, you need to make changes. Okay? You saw that bridge that the water took away in Puerto Rico. Why, if you know that in Hurricane Maria took that bridge away, why didn't you make a stronger bridge? Why can't you do something and make it stronger? When you do it now, you got to take that bridge, you got to build it over again, you got to build another street. It just makes no sense. If you go through one tragedy, you got to learn from that tragedy so it doesn't occur again. So we learn from that. Apparently, Puerto Rico does not learn from that. Puerto Ricans are still making houses out of metal on top of another house. You know, there's just a cement house here, and you put another house on top of here, 2 or 3 bedrooms, 1 bedroom again, and they made it out of metal. So when the hurricane comes, boop, it blows it out again. Why can't you just build it in cement? It costs you more money, but it's because people are being cheap. They don't want to get that money. They want to have some of that money for themselves. Okay? And I'm not even talking about the drug problems. I mean, the drug addiction in Puerto Rico is bad. We're not helping the drug addicts. There are some programs out there, yes, I can mention a few, but that's not for that here now. But yeah, so whenever you think like that, think of the people. If you want to donate, you want to help create, that's awesome. But think about the people who are running the people who are running the show. Is the governors, is the senators, is the legislation of Puerto Rico, the mayors of other towns. Look, Vieques is an island off Puerto Rico. Vieques and Culebra. If you get sick in Vieques and you got to go to a hospital, they have to transport you by helicopter from there to the main island. But yet Vieques does not have a hospital. You cannot build a hospital for those people in Vieques. And this is not something that just happened now. This has been going on for 20, 30 years. Vieques does not have a hospital. Why does not Vieques have a hospital? So the people don't have to go to the island, get airlifted to go to the island, and then get airlifted back. Why? Makes no sense. It makes sense if you build a nice hospital that can go from the people from Culebra, because they're next to each other, from Culebra can go to Vieques, and vice versa. Well, not vice versa, but people from Culebra can go to Vieques and enjoy that. They have a hospital, and it's something that's, if you need some diagnosis that you need to go to the island, there's something different. There's no need why, if you're in an island, that you got to get out of the island to go see a specialist, to go see this, because there's no need for that. Okay? But the government, again, does not want to do that. Does not want to spend the millions of dollars to open up a brand new hospital for these people. So, you build a hospital, there's number one, you got tourists there. So that's there. You bring more specialists to the island. Ear specialists, nose specialists, ear, nose doctors. All the stuff like that. Major surgery, they probably have to. Maybe you have to go to the island. But at least you know that if you get sick in Culebra, you can go to the emergency room. If you get sick in Culebra, you can get stitches in the emergency room. You can do a lot of things you can do there. You have a facility that you doctor that you can go to. Vieques don't have that. You go to Culebra right now, and you see a lot of horses that are roaming the street because people leave them out there. They don't want to take care of them. There's stray horses in Culebra and in Vieques. Isn't that sad? But yet, the people who fought for the United States to take out the military base in Ceiba, those politicians that were there, those politicians that want to strike, those politicians that cuff themselves to chain things so they cannot be removed. Those are the same politicians who didn't think that when they took away the Marines out of Culebra, they never implemented a plan. What are we going to do with this? What are we going to do with Ceiba? You know what happened with Ceiba? The Marine people left. Local business died. People sold. It's a ghost town. Now you have a base. Now you have a naval base. But maybe one, two, maybe I think that the 3 different companies, stores, small mom and pop stores. Nothing major. The naval base fit for when the Marines, whatever, they went to the Navy, they went there, they didn't want to eat from their food. They wanted local food. So that was the economy. That was shot. They understand that the military base was conducting some experiments. They were conducting fireworks. Their armors. They were shooting them. I understand all that. But you left that behind because it's what you believe, and then you didn't think about the people, what was happening to these people who are making bread, who are making money who live out of the Marines, who live out of the service people, the service men and women. You didn't think about that. And they say that it caused cancer by them being there. I still haven't heard a major concern that people are saying about that area that has cancer due to the Marines being there. So with that said, um, I want my country to grow. I want the people to grow. But if we keep up with the same thing over and over again, if we keep giving these people, the BNP and the Popular, the same vote, we're gonna come out with the same result. When there's a hurricane, this is gonna happen. When it's gonna come to the same result. So if you want change, join another party. Give that party another chance. Give that senator who's from that party another chance. We have to change the bag of chips that we have.